What up? Back again. Too Tall Sports Podcast. Got another great episode for you today. My former teammate and buddy, Philippe Aumont. He is a French-Canadian professional baseball player. He was one of the few Canadian-born players to go in the first round back in 2007. Great episode with him. Great story talking about World Baseball Classic. He got to play in that. Got to play in Philadelphia, the ups and downs of that. So I think you're going to really enjoy this episode. A different perspective from what you've heard from everyone in the United States so far. As always, you can find me at Too Tall Sports Podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube, everywhere. Please subscribe and 5-star when you can. That'd be awesome. Social media, you can just look up at Too Tall Sports Podcast. Thanks again for your support. Enjoy the episode, and let's go. All right, welcome back to the Too Tall Sports Podcast. My next guest was a former first-round pick of the Seattle Mariners back in 2007. He's the first Canadian-born player from Quebec to be drafted in the first round. Bet you didn't know that. And we were teammates together with the Seattle Mariners organization for a couple years, and he pitched in the big leagues for the Philadelphia Phillies. He is Philippe Aumont. What's going on, man? Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Definitely. Glad to have you. I want to get into your career a little bit. Philippe also played for Team Canada during the World Baseball Classic 2 times, so we'll definitely talk about that. But I kind of want to start with his upbringing and early career. So, being in Canada, which is a heavily dominated hockey country, so how did you go from, living where you grew up and transitioning into baseball? What got you interested in that?
It was a sport where it kind of got me out of summer camp to
Okay.
start, right? So I'd always go to summer camp, and I always found it boring. And a couple of friends I went to school with weren't going to summer camp; they were playing baseball during the summer. They were, their families were in the sports and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically how it all started. I just asked my dad, I was like, hey, like, instead of going summer camp, can I join team with my friends? And so we just went from there.
Okay. And, how did you get people to watch your games? How did you, what was it like growing up where it's really just, I don't know, was it tough to get scouts to come see you?
I mean, I didn't really press for any of that kind of stuff. It just sort of happened. But the way it happened for me was, once I started going higher levels back home here, and then I got invited to go play for Team Canada, the junior national team. And then that team, you go down to Florida, you go down to Dominican, you do trips down there. So it's basically they're all like tryouts for the World Championship they used to be, and that's where scouts are. That's where a majority of the scouts are going to be, because it's all Canada in one team, right? So but I did get some attention before that a little bit, but it's more local scouts. But here in Quebec, scouts aren't that heavy.
Right.
They're not. They're they follow reports, but it's just you gotta be a stud somewhat to climb up the ladder.
Right.
So you can.
Right. Now, growing up where you did, the Montreal Expos were still there when you were younger, and I actually read that you were a big Montreal Expos fan. So what do you remember about those teams from the 90s?
I mean, especially playing and know the game now, and know it's crazy who played for the Expos. I'm talking about Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson. I mean,
Larry
Orlando
Walker.
Cabrera, Gary. I mean, all these guys that played for the Expos, and how is a team like that never really end up anywhere? Or who was managing that? Who was the GM? Who messed that up? You had all these guys. But no, I remember, especially the mascot. The mascot was super famous, and it was a cool place to go. It was. I was young. I didn't really envision back then I was going to be a professional baseball player, but I thought it was cool. It's a different world.
Yeah, and it's crazy. They ended up moving, so I'm sure that was tough for all you guys when they became the Washington Nationals. But they had a great. I mean, they did have a ton of talent there, especially when we were growing up. So
Yeah,
it was fun to watch.
yeah.
As far as back to your career, when you were kind of close to getting drafted, did you know that Seattle was in the picture? Or did you know anything, any of the teams, or kind of what was the process like when you were getting close? Like, hey, you might go in the first round here out of high school.
No, the Mariners weren't. They were super quiet. I was kind of shocked when they picked me, and I was just like, the Mariners. I was like, I didn't really get to talk to them at all. Like, I didn't really get to know them or do a little bit of research on their organization, their history, kind of stuff, And it just caught me by surprise that it was going to be them, but that's just maybe how they do it. They keep it on the low, and they're just like, hey, this guy's available, let's take him. Yeah, no, I mean, it's you get a lot of teams, giving you attention and stuff before, but it's not concrete. It's not, nothing is sure, right? They're like, hey, we're interested, but it could be a scout, but the one who makes the decision is way higher up and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't really know what to think, to be honest. I didn't really know what was going on. I had my advisor that became my agent after that. He's the one taking care of that. And I was like, I think he knew, like he was really taking care of that, taking care of all the phone calls and all that, discussions. And I think he gave me the opportunity to focus more on baseball than to deal with that kind of stuff.
Right. So, I mean, you get drafted obviously it's an awesome feeling, first round and everything, but now you're an 18, 19-year-old kid. You've never been really in the States that much before. So now you got to go start playing pro ball with these older guys and, college dudes. So what was that like being a young, a French Canadian guy going to the States and playing baseball?
I was terrified. I was.
Yeah.
I mean, the part of traveling and being on my own sort of stuff, I'm used to that. I was used to that. I kind of grew up not on my own, but like I became independent very quickly at a young age. But like you said, going into professional baseball with men, not teenagers, not guys my age, men. I'm talking about big dudes, strong, and with experience. I have none of that. Terrifying. It's like, wow, okay, I'm here by myself now. I gotta survive in this. I gotta find a way. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I mean, a lot of nights where I wondered, like, all right, what is going on here?
Yeah. I remember your English was pretty good. And you used to teach me a little bit of French, stuff like that. But I remember I helped you with a couple of just regular English words. And I can imagine it would be tough for you,
I mean, yeah, I was been drafted. Yeah, I barely spoke English. Barely. I remember we had meetings. They were telling us where to go, like what time was report the next morning, breakfast and all that kind of stuff. And I'd show up after that later on, and guys would get on me and they'd be like, hey, like, you're a young guy, like you should be here. And I'd just be like, hey man, like,
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on right now. Like, you don't have to yell at me like that. Like, you can just tell me. But
right.
It is.
Yeah, no, definitely. So you and I we lived together when I got moved up to Loway, and we were both in Appleton, Wisconsin. What do you remember about playing there back in 2008, 2009?
That place was great. I mean, I like that. It was, my first season, first experience. I know we were all bunched up in that small apartment, which was, I mean, I thought it was great. I think it's that's the kind of stuff that I like for sure. Just, a bunch of dudes hanging out, and you're playing baseball. I think that made it easy a little bit in some ways going into the season, because guys are a little bit more your age, right? They're not that older. When I was in big league camp, I was 18, and you got Kenji Jojima, Ichiro, or all these guys are there. You're just like, whoa, okay, give me a sec here.
Yeah.
But no, I love that place. We had a good time. I just remember playing. I was used to the snow and all that kind of stuff, and I just remember all these kids from the South, like Dominican, Cuba, and all that. They were all freaking out. They've never seen snow before, and I was just like, "What? Where are you guys like? You guys never seen that before?" And then it just never really set in for a bit. I realized like these guys, they never get snow like where they're at. So
same with me, man. It was tough. I'm a West Coast guy. I don't get snow.
Yeah, exactly. It was just, but I mean, I figured that they would have heard of snow. They would have heard of what it is and what it's made of or whatever. It's just it just felt like it was like, I don't know, magic come from the sky, something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, you guys are much more tough than we are.
You know what? We're not more tough. We're smarter. We're smarter. Okay. We dress up more.
Yes.
We're a little bit more equipped because people are like, oh, you're from Canada, you can handle the cold. I'll tell you what, I can't handle more of the cold than you can.
Right.
But I'll throw in a couple layers that I'll know it'll keep me warmer that you might not think of.
Right.
I think that's the difference.
Right. So after that, you start moving up a little bit, high A, double A, and you're still, only 21, maybe 22 years old. Once you got to double A, where did you feel like, did you feel like you're really progressing, you're on the fast track and you're getting close to the big leagues, even though you're really young still?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I felt, going up the ladder, I was like, all right, this is the next step for me. Go there and keep doing what I've been doing. But everything happened really fast. It was I don't really know. Like it was just tough to like move, and in my personality, like I'm really like I'm shy in a way. Like I keep it to myself, and moving team to teams, like it was like a new beginning every time, and I was like, damn, I got to start all over. I got to get to know these guys again and all over again, and it was just a constant battle with myself with going to different cities. But when you're moving up and you feel like you're doing good and you're moving up, it's a reward, right? You're like, all right, I've been doing what I've been doing, and it's going well, and they reward you that you're going up to the next level. And obviously, your goal is to get to the top. So I mean, I felt like I was like, all right, I'm a step closer now.
Yeah. And I ask a lot of guys this that I have on, as far as from the pitching side, can you tell like the different levels? Was there a level that you got to that like, wow, the hitters are just different here. They have an approach, they have a plan. Did you feel any of that as you're going up?
I mean, I felt that in AAA.
Okay.
That's the only place where I really felt AAA in the big leagues. Even from AAA to the big leagues, it's night and day. But AAA, as far as minor league levels, AAA, because I mean, you get guys that have a ton of experience. They go up and down all the time. So these guys are a little bit more experienced. They have a better idea, and you just see it in BP, or when guys are playing catch or guys are throwing sides. It's completely different. It's not just throw the ball or hit the ball. The guys have a plan. They do things with a purpose. And that's where I learned the most, is when I was in AAA, because I was able to take in as much as I could from older guys. You're in AAA, and they sign new guys. They sign like a 35-year-old guy, and then they need him because he's probably going to go up to the big leagues and back and down. Well, then you're getting that experience. You can talk to him about it. So. But the other levels were just, they're just young guys. You're learning. Everybody's hungry. Everybody's just, on high, and they're just like, let's go. They want to hit bombs. They want to throw hard.
Right.
They want that breaking ball. So But once you get to, triple in the big leagues, now it becomes who's smart, who's controlled, who can locate. So
yeah. So in 2009, actually, right before you got to play in the big leagues, you and I both got traded the same year to different teams. When you were in the Cliff Lee trade at the end of 2009, guys react differently to trades. How did you feel about when Seattle sent you away and you had a whole new opportunity with Philly?
The trade was kind of weird. I didn't really know what was going on. In a way of like, I felt like I was progressing really well with the Mariners, and then they trade me. And obviously, when you get traded, I was talking with my agent, and my agent was like, "Yeah, he's like, you're getting traded basically for like a pawn guy. They're bringing Cliff Lee for a little bit, and then they're probably going to get rid of him, which is what happened."
Yeah.
And I was like, why are they getting rid of me? Like, I'm good here. Like, I feel like I'm in the right place, and you're sending me off to somewhere else where I just but I didn't really understand the business side. And then that was just the business side of the game. Again, you're still young, you're learning. It was a weird feeling, but it's, you report to your new team, you meet new people, and you keep chucking that baseball.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to play in the big leagues for the Phillies, which is awesome. And you met one of our mutual friends, Vance Worley, who I had on last episode. So that was cool. You got to play with him and a bunch of other guys. And, in Philly at that time, they were loaded, man. They still had a lot of talent on that team. So for you, what was it like playing on that team?
It was surreal, to be honest. Name dropping here a little bit, but whatever. Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Carlos Ruiz, Shane Victorino, Marlon Byrd. I mean, all these guys were there, and I was just like, bro, I used to watch you on TV. I played video games with you, and now I'm sitting in the same dugout. I have the same uniform. I'm playing on the same team. It was surreal. It was tough to believe, to a point where I was just like, really? Like, am I really part of this team? Like, do I really fit in here or not? Like, it kind of threw me off a little bit. But that was just for a small period of time. And then, you kind of realize, all right, man, like, it's time to go to business. But we, like you said, we had a team loaded with talent. We can win a baseball game, man. It was tough.
Yeah, a lot of those guys had won, and were on that World Series team back in 2008, and they were still kind of lingering. A lot of them got paid probably. So maybe it was a different mindset when you got up there.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was. Plus, Philadelphia is tough, man. Philadelphia that place got a lot of hate. If you don't perform, you will get hated on in a minute. I'm telling you. If you go play in Philadelphia, do not have social media. I mean, that is the first advice I will give you. Do not have social media. Cut your social media off. It was tough. And like you said, 2008, they won the World Series. And then if you look at it, 2009, they lost the World Series. 2010, they lost to the National League championship. And then every year they just kept getting down and down. To the year I was there, they did not make the playoffs. And it was like the end of the world in Philadelphia. It was tough.
So I guess, life outside there when you were up there or just off the field stuff, sounds like it was tough, but how did you kind of handle all that, the extra craziness of Philadelphia?
You just stay inside. I mean, I was professional baseball player and a professional video gamer.
Okay.
I played video games after that. I was like, I'm not going out.
Yeah.
Guys were like, hey, let's go downtown Philadelphia. I'd be like, yeah, what? Get recognized and get absolutely murdered on? No, thank you. I'm going to stay in, and I'm just going to, order some food in and play video games and go to sleep. I mean, I'm not going out the city.
Right. No, I hear you. So I want to circle back, actually. You got to play in the Arizona Fall League. I know probably not a ton, but what do you remember about – because just for those who don't know, the Arizona Fall League has all the upcoming prospects and A lot of great players go there. What do you remember about that experience?
Yeah, that place was good because it's basically all the best players from all the organizations that go there. That usually are in their first or couple years into pro ball. So organizations are all sending all these guys to get ready for the big leagues. That's basically what the Arizona Fall League is. These guys that you're going to see at the Arizona Fall League will probably end up in the big leagues at some point in the next few years after that. So,
right.
Going there, I knew, okay, like this is going to be the top cheese, and this is going to be a real challenge. It was tough. It was good players. I mean, it was good baseball, and again, we're still young, so guys were really hungry. So the thing that was a little hard, it was I've never been a party guy, but a lot of guys were.
Yeah.
And all the games were at 1:00. So a lot of teammates were coming in all banged up from the night before, and you play baseball, and you're just like, what are we doing here? Yeah. But that wasn't my scene. I didn't really get that, but some of these guys were. So.
Right. And I mean, you got a lot thrown at you at a young age, man, because you played in the Fall League, and then you got to play in 2009 for the Team Canada for the World Baseball Classic. So you had guys in your team like Russell Martin, Joey Votto, Justin Morneau, like big name dudes from Canada. What do you remember about your first experience, I guess, in 2009 and then the 2013 team that you also got to play
on? I mean, obviously the 2009 was, was one of my biggest inning I've ever thrown.
That's right.
It was a crazy setup where I, got the bases loaded, no outs against the U.S. We're in Toronto, and then I ended up getting out of it with, get David Wright jammed, and I struck out Youkilis and Granderson with like 40-some thousand people in the stands up cheering. Remember the stadium was shaking under me, and I was like, this is crazy. 19 years old. And then, you get all these guys, like you said, Votto and Russ, and they all come to me after the game. They're like, F yeah, let's go. Like, all these guys, they all got that energy from, what I just did. I thought it was pretty cool. It's like I said, you're young and you're seeing these guys. These guys used to be, on television, video games when you're coming up, and now you're part of the team with these guys. Sometimes it's hard to take it in. It goes by so fast. It's like a tournament. It's a week thing, whatever, and thing goes by, and you just. I remember after that, I was like, damn, like. Why didn't I not go sit down with Joey Votto? Why did I not go sit down with Russell Martin and talk to him? But it was so surreal that I just, the moment flew by so fast. I didn't have time to, to go talk to him. So,
right.
Yeah, it was kind of tough.
Did you have an extra, playing for your country? What was like, could you feel that when you were playing for Canada?
I always loved playing for Canada. And that's always been the difference for me. If you look at how I did internationally and how I did professional baseball, I mean, it's night and day. It's not even comparable.
Yeah.
Because I feel like internationally, it's that kind of pressure where you need to win on the spot. You need to win now, as opposed to professional baseball where, you could lose 20 games in a row. Nobody really cares. As long as you do good.
Right.
It's fine. Playing for Canada was always a big thing for me. I always wanted to, do good and win medals. I think winning a medal is awesome. I think it's a good souvenir you can bring back and enjoy with, with your friends and family. And that's always something I always took pride in it.
Did you have any different experience for 2013, 4 years later? You're a little bit older. Did you go into it differently with a different mindset?
Yeah, definitely. A little older. I just played in the big leagues before that. So now it's a little bit more business. It's a little bit more business side. It's not so much of going there and everything is a surprise. Now I'm a little bit more familiar. I feel like my spot is there. It is mine to take, and I feel a little bit more comfortable. But again, we're facing some teams that they're tough, and we didn't go through again, and it was disappointing to not go through that year. But we got to have some fun on the field with Mexico. That was crazy.
Yeah. Wait, remind me what happened there.
It was so the tournament format was run against, runs for, right? So if there's a tie somewhere, it's all the runs that gets calculated into the formula to pass on. So it's like 11-5 for us, or I don't know, something like that. And one of our teammates bunt down the line for a single, which professional baseball, you don't do that, right? It's unwritten rules. You don't bunt after 6 or 7 runs or like that. But we need to score runs. So he bunts for a single. So the next guy gets hit. And then we brawled.
Wow.
But their manager, the Mexico manager, did not tell the rules to the team. They didn't know what the rules were. So they got mad. They got mad when we bunted, and third baseman was like, hey, hit him in the ribs, and you don't do that, blah, blah. But it wasn't professional baseball. It was international baseball, which is a little different.
Right.
But, we just, we beat them twice that day.
I'm sure they were pretty unhappy about that. But yeah, if the rules are you got to score run, the run differential matters, then
yeah,
I guess you're not trying to mercy rule them, but whatever.
No, but I mean, it's if the rules are the rules, you got to play the international game. It's not the professional baseball, like the American game where it's everything is kind of through the motion kind of stuff. It's an international game. Like everything matters, runs, everything matters. So you got to play by those set of rules if you want to win, if you want to move on.
So a few years after that, 2015, you've had a couple years in the big leagues, kind of up and down with Philly, and then you signed as a free agent. Even though it wasn't very long, you signed with Toronto. What was it like to play for the team that's based in your country, and did you think you were that was a next great stop for you?
At that point, I was baseball wasn't really a priority in my life anymore.
Okay.
I was dealing with a lot of stuff, family wise and with girlfriends and back home and all that kind of stuff. And I was struggling. I didn't really know what was going on. I was struggling a lot on the field, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was in a dark place. So I signed with them just to kind of go back, because I didn't want to stay home and sort of just sit on the couch.
Yeah.
So they were interested in signing me. I was like, yeah, sure. And it was, it's AAA was in Buffalo, which was 5.5 hours from here. I was like, all right, I'll go try it out. And I think I stayed there for 4 weeks, and then they released me. I was just like, all right, I'm going home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw you had signed also with the White Sox and Detroit for a little bit, but didn't stay long at either one, really. What were did you have a favorite organization? Was it Philly because you got to the big leagues with them, or where was your favorite stop during your career before we went to independent ball?
Chicago, the White Sox, they were a great place, great people. The Tigers were great as well. Toronto Blue Jays were amazing. I went to camp with them this year again. They were number one. I wish I would have came up with an organization like that at a younger age. I felt like it could have been a little bit different, but I like them all. They're all different from each other, but there's not one better than the other. It's just there's just different people. But most of the baseball people, they're all nice. I mean, it's just they're they all love the game. They all want to get you better, especially, coaches wise. They all want to get you better. They all want to get you to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Philadelphia was a little different. There was a couple guys that, could have been tossed aside, but that's just part of it. You can't have it pretty everywhere, but no, I mean, I liked them all. They were all different experience, but I'm not the one to go and to trash on them or anything.
Sure. Yeah.
I really enjoyed every passage I have with all of them. And, when people ask me like, hey, like, if there's one place to go, I couldn't really answer you because they were all good. They were all good. I just, for me, I wasn't, like I said, I was somewhat in the dark place in the last couple of years. So it wasn't anybody at the fault. It was probably mine.
Okay. So even after you kind of got out of Major League Baseball, you decided, most guys, I never think I would, but I ended up playing independent ball for 1 year. So, nobody thinks they're going to play independent ball till you actually do. So when you got to the Canadian, or is it Can-Am League?
Can-Am League, yeah.
Yeah. Once you started playing up there, did that kind of change and bring back the joy of baseball for you?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It was fun. It was fun playing ball. And I'll tell you what, because it's the exact same format as international baseball.
Oh, okay.
You were there to win. In independent ball, you got to win. Like, you win ball games. You don't move up levels. You don't get demoted. You don't get promoted or anything. It's either you live or you die kind of thing. So that's what I liked about it. Every game mattered. You needed to win. If you lose, you go in the clubhouse and you have that losing, face on. You don't have that fake losing face of like, I don't really care. We just lost, but I don't really care.
Right.
It's like, but if you win, guys are happy and boom, they bring out cases of beers and you just, you can have a couple beers with the guys. And it was all about winning and performing, which that's always been my number one thing. Like, I want to perform. I want to win. I'm a winner. I'm not that fake two-face, just like, oh, we lost. Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in that. So I really, really enjoyed independent ball. Obviously it probably wasn't my caliber baseball. But it didn't matter. I mean, obviously dominating a little bit.
Yeah, I saw your numbers are crazy, and I also saw you were a player coach too. So how did that shape your mindset and kind of change the way you thought about pitching again or just being in baseball again?
Well, I mean, if you're on my team and you're on my pitching staff, and I'm telling you to do things when you're on the mound, well, I better do them.
Right.
If I don't do them, you're just gonna look at me and you're gonna be like, "You're a fool." Like, you're not doing what you're telling me to do. So by telling them and constantly, teaching these guys how to be professional and how to act on the mound and how to approach the game, it was constant reminders for me. So I think it helped me a lot. It really, really did. And after a while, guys were like, "Hey, I'm like, come with me. Let's go work with other guys. I want you to put your input. I want you to look at them and do what I do, so you can, keep reminding yourself like the things that, you want to, let's say you want to teach to a kid or whatever. Like, it's just, so I was always in check. I was always on point with what I needed to do, and, no more fits, no more throwing stuff, no more, attitude. It was, I needed to be professional because these guys were looking at me. I was their coach. So, it was good. I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work because, it's double duties. Now I got to take care of my arm. I got to take care of my body. I got to do all my stuff as a player, but then I got to take care of, 12 other guys. So it was a lot of work, but it was fun. It was fun, and we had a good summer. So
Yeah, and you pitched great. And after that, I know you were with Toronto in spring training this year earlier. Did you think like, all right, I'm back, like mentally, I'm ready to get back to the big leagues. I know I can still do this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's to some degree.
Yeah,
To some degree. I mean, stepping into camp from the first day, I was just like, oh, this is not what I want. This is not. I don't want this kind of battling, fighting. I'm your friend, but I'm not. Sort of stuff. Again, that's not me.
right.
I have a hard time dealing with that. And I did it. I was going to be there, and then the COVID came in, and I was just like, I went back home, and I threw for about 3-4 weeks. I kept throwing, and I kept doing my stuff, and we weren't getting any news or anything, and I was just like, you know what, I'm out. I'm out. And then that's when we got a farm.
Yeah, I know, and I wanted to ask you about that. So now that you're pretty much done playing, it sounds like you picked up farming. So what exactly does that look like for you these days?
I mean, right now we're in the process. We're building a new greenhouse. We're going to grow vegetables in greenhouses, fruits and vegetables. But we're going to start with vegetable first. But the farm that we're buying already has a bunch of buildings and installations for the greenhouse. They already have that, and the owner here did it for 20 years. And for me, it was like, I want to go back to the country. I want to go back to nature. It didn't really matter what I was going to do. You could have told me, well, look, Phil, there's a farm here. There's 200 cows on it. I would have been like, yeah, let's go. I'm taking it. Or there's sheeps and goats. Okay, I'm taking it. I'm going to it. My wife was more, it's a dream for her to go on a farm. She worked on a farm when she was younger. She worked with horses and stuff. And I just, from seeing what happened with the COVID-19 and like how like people panicked, groceries were just emptied. Grocery stores. It was kind of scary. It was just like, all right, I need to go somewhere where I can build security for my family. Not saying that it's going to happen every other year or whatever.
Right.
But it's just a sense of security, going to the country, and going back to nature, and I think it's a good lifestyle. It's a nice quiet place. I got 221 acres. I have plenty of land to wander off and to do a bunch of stuff. So, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, you made it. You're living back in Canada, so hopefully not too far away from family. And
did I lose you?
Can you hear me? I don't know if I lost you or not. I see you. Can you hear me now? Do I have you?
We can barely stream a Netflix movie.
Oh man,
we're
brutal.
So
you're in the country.
Yeah, we are. So hopefully we got a bunch of animals to take care of. We don't have to watch any movies or anything.
Yeah, there you go. I want to finally ask you about. So you have a young child. So I want to ask you about what it's like in parenthood and how everything's been since that.
It's the best thing. I never thought or envisioned that this little thing would fill my heart with love as much as she does. It's unbelievable. I just, parents, they'll tell you, they're all going to tell you, like, wait till you get your child, but you never get that feeling until you do. It's amazing. And, we got the chance because of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. We spent a lot of time together. So I got to see a lot of her development and the way she grew, and like all these little new things that comes up, and attitudes, and and all these little things that I wouldn't have got the chance to see if I would have been away from baseball. So so in a way, it's fun to to see that and to create memories and stuff. And she's great. She traveled the world at 6 months old. She went to Korea. She went to Japan. We were in Arizona. We flew from LA to Japan. So it's a 15-hour flight. She did not make a sound. Wow. She did not whine. She did not cry. She didn't do any of that for 15 hours. Guys were like, people were just coming up to me. They're like, hey, like what, like, how do you do it? Like, how? We're just like, I don't know. Like, this is our baby. I mean, this is the way it happened. There's no, it was unbelievable. It was crazy. For us, it was like normal, right? Like for us, it was like sweet. Like, or, we don't have to do much because we hear a bunch of stories, but for others, I guess it's a big thing.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got to reconnect, man. I appreciate you sharing your story, and I definitely hope we can do it again soon. So thank you for coming on the show. Did I lose you again?
All right, man. Sorry about the connection, bud.
No, that's okay. All right. My thanks to Philippe Aumont. What a great episode. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I told my producer and my buddy Ed to keep some of the technical difficulties on there because we thought they were funny. So hope you enjoyed the episode. Sorry for a couple, instances, but we left them on there for comedic effect. So anyway, at Too Tall Sports Podcast, you can check out all the episodes. You can find me on social media on all platforms at Too Tall Sports Podcast. YouTube, Spotify, Apple. If you want to go look me up, that'd be great. Really hope you enjoyed it, and got some more episodes coming your way soon. So enjoy the day, and thanks again.